Part 3. Dean, sing a few lines from a Color Me Badd song. Ooh. Ooh. That's all I know. I can't think of the words. You put me on the spot. Plus, I really don't know the words. I can't think of them. Gail, do you want to swap homes? I live in Arizona. I will live in Arizona. You can live in Australia. Sure. I don't see why not. You might not want to move here, though, depending on how this election goes. Just kidding. I couldn't care less. Well, I could care, but just shut up, Tara. Yeah, I wouldn't mind living in Australia, but I guess it would depend on where. Stephanie, 1 word, worms. Stephanie, 2 words, tiny hats. Stephanie, the only acceptable tiny hat is on a cartoon worm wearing a tiny hat, or any other animal wearing a tiny hat. Tiny hats should not be on human beings. Andy, when will the hurting stop? Never. Sorry, it's just not gonna. Uplifting. I don't know. I hope soon. Thor. What makes Martian Manhunter so appealing to you, and who's your favorite supervillain? The Joker's probably my favorite supervillain because it's the Joker. He's amazing. What makes Martian Manhunter so appealing? He's like everything rolled in one. He can read minds. He can be invisible. He can like change shape. He has super strength. He can read minds. I think I already said that. He's green. He like wears that awesome getup. He's got the smooth. I don't know. He's smooth. He's freaking Martian Manhunter. He's hot. Am I the only person that thinks that? I hope not. Well, who cares? He's mine. Ronald, how were you approached to do the vocals on the Typo Negative song, and have you ever had a chance to do it live with the band as a special guest live contribution? Was there any other songs you were asked to do, or was it specifically that song that was pointed out for you? Do you want to do any other songs that were featured on that album or any others? Basically, Josh and I were friends on MySpace, and he asked me to do vocals on a different song, and it wasn't for Typo Negative, it was for something else, and that song never came out. And so they were recording that album, and he asked me if I wanted to do vocals. I said, of course. He sent me the files, I did the vocals, and that was it. So it was just specifically for that track, and I would like literally do anything he ever asked me to. Musically, sounds kind of weird, but like, yeah, like I wouldn't care what it was. If he asked me to do vocals for him, I would do it, because he's awesome. And did I ever get to perform live? Yes, I did. The second to last time they came through Tempe, I performed that song with them live, and it was crazy because the prior times I had been on stage surrounding Typo Negative, suffice to say it wasn't the same response. It was bizarre because like when Lycia played with them, like the crowds were okay, but there was a lot of mean people. And so it was definitely strange walking out on stage with them and having people like cheer for you and stuff. And it was very surreal, and I am thankful that I got to have that experience with those guys. It was one of the coolest things I ever got to do in my music career. Scott, on Monday is Here, do I hear you singing Monday very faintly from 40 seconds into about 1 minute and 10 seconds, or is that just another instrument? Please tell Dirk Swamp Thing says hi. Yeah, I sing Monday in that whole song. Monday. Yep, I sure do. Scott, I would drop fucking dead if you just said hello to me on camera, but I would like to ask, who are some of your main influences in music? Who do you truly admire? Hello, Scott! Don't die. It's not that exciting for me to say hello to you. You know what? Same bands I mentioned earlier, but I try to do my own thing, obviously, but people even, I mean, random things influence you as a human being. But the same bands I mentioned earlier have an influence in one way or the other. But I'm not like talented enough to copy somebody else's style, so there you go. Dwayne, how can someone's feet smell if they don't have a nose? Well, they might not smell them, but other people have noses, so that's how. And furthermore, how can a nose run if it doesn't have feet? Dork. You're funny. I have recurring dreams about several subjects, including trying to exist in a post-apocalyptic world. I experimented with St. John's wort for a while because I heard it gave you bizarre dreams. I did not know that. But it didn't seem to change much for me. I think my dreams are already as far out as dreams can get. So I guess my question is, does anyone else have bizarre reoccurring dreams that are so vivid that you can't help but wonder if you're living several interdimensional lives simultaneously? Yes. I've had like the same dreams either specifically or theme-wise since I've been a child. So I think everybody does that as far as I know, I think. I have totally thought about the whole when you're asleep. I think sometimes you're just dreaming and it's your brain. I think sometimes you're someplace else. I don't understand. I mean, first of all, your brain is awesome. So yeah, it does have the power to create things on its own. But I like the idea of when you dream about some place you've never been in real life, or some people that you've never actually met in real life, that maybe you are there. I like to think about that, and I like to believe that. So I choose to believe it. So yeah, I'm with you, bud. Okay. It's 13 hours after you posted this. Are you still bored? I was, sort of. Not, because I was working, and I'm not generally bored when I'm working because I'm focused on work. In case my boss watches this. Just kidding. She wouldn't waste her time. No, I'm not bored anymore. I usually am not bored, actually. Jordan! Can you give a shout out to my podcast? Go listen to Jordan's podcast. Okay, real question. If Lycia isn't a full-time job, what is your day job? I work for an insurance company coding policies all day. It's fine. I like my job. I like my coworkers. I get to work from home, and I get to go in and see them, bright, cheery folks every so often. I'm not being sarcastic. I genuinely like my coworkers and my job. I'm very fortunate in the job that I was able to wrangle with no education. I have a high school education. Anyways, so I've answered all your questions. I hope they were entertaining. And can you see Nick Cage peeking up over there? Right there. I hope you all are having a good day.